Hey there. Today we journey deep into the misty heart of Tasmania to uncover the haunting legacy of a vanished predator, the last shadow, the story of the Tasmanian tiger. Imagine a creature that looked like a wolf, moved like a kangaroo, and carried its young in a pouch, a ghost of the wilderness, seen by few, remembered by many. This is the story of the Tasmanian tiger, the Thylacine, and how it slipped through our fingers into legend. In the dense, moss-covered forests of Tasmania, where the mist clings to the trees like breath on glass and silence is broken only by the rustle of leaves or the distant call of bird, there once roamed a predator unlike any other. The Thylacine, often called the Tasmanian tiger for the dark stripes that ran across its back, was not a tiger at all, nor was it a wolf, though it resembled one in both form and function. It was a marsupial, a distant cousin of the kangaroo and the koala, and it held the title of the largest carnivorous marsupial of modern times. Its body was lean and muscular, built for endurance rather than speed. It moved with a stiff, almost mechanical gait, its long tail trailing behind like a rudder. Its jaws could open astonishingly wide, nearly 80 degrees, revealing rows of sharp, efficient teeth. But despite its fearsome appearance, the Thylacine was a shy, elusive creature. It hunted at night, feeding on wallabies, birds, and small mammals. During the day, it sought refuge in dens, caves, or hollow logs, avoiding the harsh Tasmanian sun and the growing presence of humans. For thousands of years, the Thylacine ruled the forests of Australia and Tasmania. Aboriginal rock art, some dating back tens of thousands of years, depicts its form, a testament to its once widespread presence. Fossil records show it once roamed the Australian mainland freely, coexisted with early humans and other now extinct megafauna. But then came change, slow at first, then swift and unforgiving. When humans arrived in greater numbers, they brought with them new animals, dogs, foxes, and sheep. They brought fire and fences, guns and traps. The Thylacine, already in decline on the mainland due to competition and habitat loss, found its last refuge on the island of Tasmania. But even there, it could not escape the tide of colonization. By the time European settlers arrived in Tasmania in the early 1800s, the Thylacine was already rare. But settlers, unfamiliar with the animal and its habits, saw it not as a rare and remarkable creature, but as a menace. Farmers blamed it for killing livestock, especially sheep, though whether those accusations were true or exaggerated remains debated to this day. Some believe feral dogs were more likely culprits, but perception often outweighs truth. The government, responding to pressure from the agricultural community, placed a bounty on the Thylacine's head, literally. For every dead Thylacine, a reward was paid. Hunters, farmers, and opportunists took up rifles and traps. Between 1888 and 1909, over 2,000 bounties were paid. The forest grew quieter. The shadows grew thinner. By the early 20th century, sightings became rare. The Thylacine, once a symbol of the wild, had become a ghost. The last known wild Thylacine was shot in 1930 by a farmer named Wilf Batty. Just 6 years later, in 1936, the last confirmed Thylacine, a male, died in captivity at the Hobart Zoo. His name was never recorded. He died alone, locked out his shelter on a cold night, just 2 months after the species was granted official protection. Too little, too late. But the story doesn't end there. Since 1936, the Thylacine has refused to vanish completely, at least in the minds of those who believe. Sightings have been reported for decades. A shadow crossing a road, a striped tail disappearing into the bush, a strange howl in the night. Some are hoaxes. Others are honest mistakes, dogs, foxes, or wallabies glimpsed in poor light. But a few remain unexplained. Scientists have searched. Expeditions have been launched. Camera traps have been set deep in the wilderness, baited and watched for months. Yet no definitive proof has emerged. No clear photograph. No DNA. No body. The thylacine remains a ghost, not quite alive, not quite gone. And now, in the 21st century, the story has taken a new twist. With advances in genetics and biotechnology, some researchers believe the thylacine could be brought back, not through magic, but through science. DNA has been extracted from preserved specimens. The idea of de-extinction, once confined to science fiction, is now a serious conversation in scientific circles. But even if we could bring the thylacine back, should we? Would it still be the same animal, or merely a replica, a genetic echo of something that once lived and breathed in a very different world? Would it survive in a landscape transformed by humans, where its prey is scarce and its predators many? Or would it be a prisoner of our guilt, a symbol of what we lost and what we're trying, perhaps too late, to undo? The thylacine story is not just about extinction. It's about how we see the wild, as something to fear, to conquer, or to protect. It's a story of regret, of wonder, and of hope, because in the end, the Tasmanian tiger is more than a lost species. It's a mirror that asks, what else are we willing to lose before we learn to cherish what we have? And so, the forests of Tasmania remain quiet. But if you listen closely on a still night, you might just hear the echo of padded feet, the rustle of leaves, and the whisper of a creature that once was, and maybe, just maybe, still is. If this story stirred something in you, a sense of loss, wonder, or quiet awe, don't let it end here. Explore our other episodes and discover more vanished voices from the edge of extinction, because remembering them is the first step to protecting what remains. Thanks for walking with us through the shadows. Until next time, stay curious, stay wild,